And good evening, everybody, and welcome to a snowy and chilly Albion College here on the campus in Michigan. And coming up from Ohio today, Jimmy, does seem like the folks up here in the Northlands got a little more snow than what we got down in the South.
A little bit more snow on the roads also, since you like to take the back roads to get places instead of the more well-traveled roads. But all in all, beautiful drive up. Certainly looking forward to getting back in the swing of things here in 2018 with what should be an excellent women's basketball game.
You can't ask for too much more than that. We're in conference play right now, and the Trine Thunder comes to town tonight at 14-2, 6-1 in the conference, and sitting in that number 2 slot here as we play tonight. And your Albion Britons come in tonight at 11-4 and 5-2 in the conference in that number 3 slot. And this is a ball game that both these teams, I'm sure, are looking forward to tonight. Coach Trine would like to get a win tonight. You need to take care of the ones at your house, and here is her opportunity tonight with the Trine Thunder.
And you see the standings on the screen right there. Hope having a very impressive season, 16-0 overall, 7-0 in the conference. Trine and Albion, as well as Calvin, right on their heels. Trine just a game back, as you see, at 6-1. And they've had 2 losses, but let's not thumb our nose too much at the 2 losses that the Trine Thunder have had. Those have come to a couple of pretty good teams, Jim Funderburg.
Well, you know, they played out in Las Vegas back in December at the D3 Hoops Classic. They won their opening game against Wisconsin Stout 52-46. And then they lost to what was last year's national champions, D3 champions, Amherst, 41-36. And then followed that up with a loss to Hope, which was a back-to-back kind of unusual situation for this Trine basketball team. And when you take those 2 games that happened back-to-back with one another out of the equation, they are sitting here at 16-0 at this point in time, 14-0, which is a very solid year. And you consider that you lost to Hope, who is nationally ranked, in Amherst, who won it all last year. I'd say you're having a pretty good season so far early.
And again, you mentioned that Amherst game being a low-scoring game. You know, that speaks volumes, and the statistics will bear that as we start to break down this Trine Thunder team. But only giving up 41 points to the defending national champion. They are a suffocating defense, and it's going to be difficult for anyone to put 50, 60, 70 on the board against them. So, you know, you look back at some of their games, a lot of their games that they won, the teams are scoring in the 30s and the 40s. And, you know, they're able to still, you know, just cruise away in the second half and ice those games. And so, you know, again, well coached, very balanced, very disciplined, and a very stifling defense that Coach Carden and the Lady Britons are going to have to put it into another gear, and they're going to need, I think, to stay in that another gear for all 4 quarters.
I think you're right tonight, no doubt about that. The Brits come in as the number 2 offensive team in the conference here tonight, but they're going up against the number 1 defensive team in the conference in Hope, or in Trine. And that Hope game, they lost 57-46 to Hope. So that was the only other loss. So as you can see, 57 points is kind of at the top end of the amount of points that Coach Ryan Gould's team gives up. Gould in his 3rd year, having a pretty good start to a career at 73-23 right now. Last year they were the regular season champs in MIAA, and they also won the tournament. And they went into the NCAA Division III tournament last year along with Calvin and Hope, as the MIAA got 3 ladies basketball teams into the big dance last year, Jim.
Yeah, I'll take you back all the way, Jim, to December 9 for this Trine Thunder team. And I'll just rattle off real quick the number of points they gave up just to kind of back up that talk about their defense. 47 against Calvin, 46 against Heidelberg. That Wisconsin Stout game, only 46. 41 to Amherst, who's the defending champs. 57 to Hope, as you mentioned, and then right back down to ridiculously low figures. 43 given up against Olivet. They went on the road to Adrian, gave up 29 39, and then only 31 in their last game, the victory against St. Mary's. So, I mean, you're talking the last 3 games, 103 points total they've given up, 34 and change a game. That's some pretty good defense right there.
That is an excellent defense, no doubt. Well, they come into the league as the consensus #1 team when the season started. All the coaches said, who's going to win the conference this year? They all raised their hand for the Trine Thunder, and part of the reason that they did that was because they returned Haley Martin, their senior center from Auburn, Indiana, and Brandy Dawson, who's a junior out of Garrett, Indiana. Both these young ladies were first-team all-conference players last year. Miss Garrett was also a preseason second-team All-American, according to D3 Hoops, coming into the ball game here tonight. So you have a couple of players that are going to come in and play good defense for you. Not offensively the most solid players, but they're both in the top 15 in scoring in the conference, and they're also both in the top 15 in rebounding in the conference. But I think what you're going to find tonight is you're going to find a Trine team that's going to try to come in here and stifle an Albion basketball team that is averaging just over 70 points a night. And if they can do that, they'll sneak out of here with a win tonight. If Albion, on the other side, can continue the role that they've been on here recently and score the points the way that they normally do here at their home gym, it could be an entirely different outcome tonight.
Well, you and I have had the privilege of watching not this iteration of the Trine Thunder team, but we've seen the Trine's women basketball team before. And historically, the teams that give them fits are the scrappy teams.
Yeah.
And so if the Britons can play that scrappy kind of ball, the 50-50 balls, the loose balls, get the tie-ups, the chains of possessions, maybe force them into some turnovers and have them start playing out of rhythm a little bit. That's the kind of game that can throw you a little bit. And if the Britons can play kind of pesky on defense, get those loose balls, maybe get a few early fouls, get somebody in foul trouble, and start to dictate the flow of the game a little bit better, that's the kind of game I think that can give the Trine Thunder some fits. Now, that said, you can play pesky, but sometimes that style of play, pesky kind of borders on sloppy.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to play that kind of aggressive defense that is required to get a lot of those 50-50 balls, you're going to have to kind of go all or nothing sometimes. And obviously the worst part of that all or nothing proposition is the nothing part. And so if you're going for the loose balls and the steals and all that, you may overcommit sometimes, which might lead to some easy baskets. And that's where the discipline of the Trine Thunder will get you. So you're going to have to play scrappy, but you're also going to have to play disciplined.
When you take a look at the team that's coming in tonight against our Britons, you look at a team that's got some pretty good size. Camille Lira is a freshman, but she's 5'10" tall, one of their guards. Cassidy Williams, who's a junior, 5'9". She's actually out of our part of Ohio. Her dad is actually an assistant coach for the men's side and on the men's team, and he has been a disciplinarian and a defensive guru for all of his life. So you can see how Cassidy would fit right in with that at her forward spot. Haley Martin, we talked about. She's a 6'2" senior at center. Brandy Dawson, a 5'9" junior at one of the forwards, and Katie Steers, a 5'9" sophomore. So you're 5'9", 5'9", 6'2", 5'9", 5'10". And watching them practice down here, it does appear that we're going to see a lot of 2-3 zone out of them tonight. That will hopefully play into the hands of Evelyn Wishmeyer, who is the number 2 scorer in the conference right now for the Britons. The 5'11" sophomore, young lady who looks like she's most of the time put together with Band-Aids and ace bandages, always goes out and gives you 100% no matter how dinged up she might be. But hopefully tonight for the Britons and Coach Carton, they'll figure out a way to get the number 2 scorer in the conference her shot tonight, and maybe she can lead this Britons basketball team past a very pesky Trine team tonight.
Yeah, the 2-3 zone, the weakness of a 2-3 zone is a good outside shooting basketball team. It forces you to break that third person in the bottom of the zone. They'll have to start stepping out to the edges. Usually it's either your 2 wing players, usually the smaller forwards, or if they give you a 3-guard look, one of the guards and a forward. And so a good outside shooting team is going to force that 2-3 zone to stretch it's going to force that middle person to have to maybe come out and commit, because a longer shot usually means a longer rebound. And so if you can knock down a few, and that's not necessarily something that the Lady Britons are, you know, they're not the #1 3-point shooting team, and I don't think they're going to drastically alter their game plan tonight. But I do think that you try to get a few outside looks and you see if you can't knock a few of those down. Maybe force them out of that 2-3 zone. And if Trine still, or if Trine wants to do a full court press from time to time, you're going to have to avoid turning that ball over to give them any early momentum. Again, giving up 30, 35, 40 points a game, you have to think that they're going to be playing some full court. They're going to be playing some half-court trap, and that 2-3 zone, they're going to try to limit you to one shot now. So you're going to have to get the most out of those possessions, but you're going to have to go after those loose balls too. Yeah. There's no ifs, ands, you can't settle for one shot and out every possession, because you know you're not going to shoot 100% from the floor. Yeah. So you're going to have to be scrappy, and you're going to have to get those loose balls. You're going to have to force them to stretch that 2-3 zone if that's what they end up playing, and get them out of their game first and dictate the rest of the match.
For the Britons, since we've seen them last, one note that really sticks out, and we saw it right as we walked in the gym tonight, Sam Carter, the sophomore who's just been playing lights out for Coach Carton this year, in a walk-in boot, so we don't expect to see her playing tonight at all. Aaron Nelson, obviously they lost at the very beginning of the season, so this is a team that is missing a couple of their better players here tonight, but they're still doing pretty well. And they've had some real nice contributions to some folks that we haven't seen all that much. Rain Hinton, the freshman, has really been coming on. She's averaging 11 points a game. Emily Burness, the sophomore, at 12 points a game. We already talked about Wish. Brittany Lutz as a 8-point-a-night scorer, and we do expect to see her. And then Maya Gillum, who came in the other night against Adrian and had a really good night, and also Haley Nugent. Nugent's the young lady that came in against Adrian the other night with 17 points. Brits have had a pretty decent month of January so far. They opened up by beating Adrian 71-53 at Adrian. Then they had the bump with Calvin. You know, we had that good game here that we watched these guys play, and then they went to Calvin, and Calvin kind of took them apart 82-59, but they bounced right back and won over against St. Mary's on Saturday. And so they won 2 and only lost 1 here to open everything up as we're getting ready to get the introductions and the national anthem here today. So why don't we send everything down to the court. We'll get the national anthem, we'll get the introduction of players, and then we'll be ready for basketball here on the Britons Basketball Network. It's Wednesday night, we're in Albion, and it's great to have you with us tonight.
During your time here at Kresge Gymnasium, we encourage all of today's participants, whether you are in competition or in the stands, to be loud, be proud, especially be positive. Welcome once again to Kresge Gymnasium, located on the campus of Albion College. We're just about ready for this NCAA women's basketball matchup between the visiting Trine University Thunder and your Albion College Britons. We would now like to introduce the starting lineups for each team participating in tonight's game. As always, we will begin with the visitors from Trine. At forward, a 5'9" junior, number 23, Brittany Lutz. Forwards and forward, 5'11" sophomore from Lake Orion, number 23, Cassidy Williams.
And there you go, the starting five. Camille Lira, a 5'10" freshman out of Murrieta, California for Trine. Cassidy Williams, and 5'9" junior out of Archibald, Ohio. Number 14, Haley Martin, a center, 6'2" out of Auburn, Indiana. And Brandy Dawson, a 5'9" junior out of Garrett, Indiana. And Katie Spears, 24, from Portage, Indiana, 5'9" sophomore, steers. On the other side, Paige Risch will start tonight for Sam Carter. She is a 5'3" sophomore out of Valparaiso, Indiana. Brittany Lutz, a 5'9" sophomore out of Jackson. Carter again is out tonight. She's from Robards, Kentucky, and she's in a walking boot. Evelyn Wishmeyer, a 5'11" sophomore out of Lake Orion, Michigan. Emily Burness, the 5'11" sophomore out of Waterford, Michigan. And Rain Hitton, a 6-footer out of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
I want to take a moment to say hi to a couple of people who've already sent us a message at webcast@albion.edu. Want to say hi to Karen. She's Paige's grandma watching from Valparaiso, Indiana. Thank you so much, and I believe we have another message. This is Alan and Sue Ardenson watching from Zeeland, Michigan. Go Brits. So thank you so much for tuning in as well.
So the Trine Thunder win the tap, and the first jump shot of the evening will be a little bit short by Haley Martin, and the rebound will come off to the Britons. Paige Risch bringing the ball in the front court, and she has Camille Lira all over her. Well, so much for the 2-3 zone look there, Jimmy.
There you go.
Matchup kind of zone being worked right now for the Trine Thunder.
I don't think they're going to stick with one particular defense. I don't know there's a base. I think it's more we'll do man, we'll do zone, we'll do pretty much whatever.
And if you keep leaving Brittany Lutz open like that, it could be a long night if you're a Thunder fan, as she knocks down the first bucket of the night, 3-0 Britons.
Another email from Valpo. Brian Resch watching, also rooting for Paige. So the family is tuning in Valparaiso, Indiana tonight.
Good to have you with us here tonight. Let us know what you think as we go. Hopefully we're going to bring you a winner here tonight as they try to feed the ball down low to Brandy Dawson, and the Brits all over that one as Rain Hitton gets a handle on that and swats it out of bounds. 8 ticks left to go on the shot clock right now as Trine will inbounds underneath their bucket. Lira to do the honors, and she'll toss it out deep to Haley Martin. Martin swings it over to Williams. Williams tries to bounce it downside to Dawson, and Dawson does get a step. And with just 1 second left on the shot clock, has her first points of the night. So it's 3-2 now. Britons on top.
Well, they're extending the shot clock. That would explain also why they only given up 40-some a game.
Wish kicks it to the corner, and just like that, the Brits are 2 for 2 from outside as Emily Burness knocks down her first bucket of the night. It's 2 now Britons.
And what did we say in the beginning? If they did elect to go 2-3 zone, that outside shot would have softened it up and probably forced them to switch to man anyway. So incidental contact, no whistle there. Good screen up top and a good strong drive for a bucket.
Man, I'll tell you what, Katie Steers finds the backside of the defense open for the easy lay-in, but the Brits will trade you 3 for 2 all night long.
One of the hardest things to do as a ball handler is maintain your dribble all the way to the basket. As a guard, you're conditioned to think that there's going to be a center there ready to stuff you. She maintained her dribble on that end and was able to get a nice look and an easy 2.
We talked about, there's the first turnover of the night as Brittany Lutz loses the basketball. It goes the other way to Lyra, and Lyra finds a spot and knocks it in. It's 6-6. So the turnovers you talked about at the beginning of the ball game, Jim, if you're going to keep in the game tonight against Trine, you can't keep doing that, giving them easy buckets.
Nope. You can't keep doing that, and you can't just settle for outside shots. They're 2 for 2 so far, but they just turned the ball over again. That's 3 turnovers.
Not a good thing. Steers dumps it over to the left side to Cassidy Williams, who missed the shot. Wishmeyer with the basketball. Brits in a hurry to Burness. Feeds it down underneath to Hinton, and the ball goes out of bounds, and it will be Trine basketball. So there's 3 turnovers, 3 consecutive turnovers for the Britons.
I think that's 4 total and 3 consecutive, as you mentioned. I have no problem with that one, though, Jim. It doesn't lead to a transition opportunity, and it shows that they're not content with just settling for an outside shot.
Risch looking at Lyra as she brings it across the timeline.
Nearly carried right there.
Gives it to Dawson, who works the baseline, gets cut off, and swings it all the way back out front.
2
Williams.
players in the same spot for the ball. That'll drive a coach crazy.
Martin gives to Lyra. They try to feed it to Martin on the give and go, and the Brits get the hands in there and turn the Trine Thunder over for their second time.
Wishmeyer got the hands up on defense in the paint right there, deflected, got the steal.
6.5 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. We're tied at 6.
Good hands.
Nice job by Trine to pull that one loose. Steers goes end to end, puts it up, no good. Fight for the rebound. It goes out of bounds. Will it be off of Lyra? Yes. I believe so.
Yep. Got tangled up right there, had possession, went to the floor with the ball. Off her knee, out of bounds. That's a tough one on defense. You're playing good defense, you're scrapping for the loose ball, and it still ends up going the other way.
Tiara Orban will check in for the Britons as Brittany Lutz will sit down here. About midway through this opening quarter. It's been a good one so far.
They need a shot.
Yeah, they really do. It's been
put a shot up for a while.
4 trips down now where they've not gotten anything up.
But they also haven't given up a point at that time, so at least they haven't lost any ground.
Hinton with the basketball. She works to the rim, and she'll draw the foul. I'll tell you what, Rain Hinton, the freshman, going up against Haley Martin, who's the senior, the veteran in this conference, one of the better players. You know, the first thing I think goes through your mind is a little bit of a gulp, and then it's like, okay, hey, this young lady's got to do exactly what I got to do. I'm going to force the issue, and she did a nice job taking that one to the rim.
Yep, and the reason she got the whistle on that is she didn't go straight up on defense. The defender kind of leaned forward for the block, but she went up for the shot, kind of twisted her body a little bit to put a little body into her. So she drew the contact and drew the whistle. Very smart play right there, and knocked down both free throws. The Brits' first points for a while.
8-6 now, Britons. 4 turnovers right now for the Britons. Only 1 turnover here for Trine. And the Britons trying to change that a little bit. Ball somehow gets to Dawson, and Dawson takes a step and lays it off the glass. Hinton made the shot. She was just about a 1 step too late for that basketball.
Yep.
And Dawson, the junior, and the preseason D3 All-American says, oh, this is easy. I can do this all night.
And what do we say about the all or nothing, Jim? you went for the steal, but you came up with nothing. That'll happen sometimes. You can't let it stop you from being aggressive. Again, you just have to play under control.
Martin gives the ball to Williams, who tries to move people around to where she wants them. She can't find a shot. Gives it back to Steers. Now they go down to Dawson on the low block. Dawson with a turnaround, no good. And the rebound comes off to Paige Risch, and it will be Britain's basketball, and they're in a hurry. Orban down along the baseline and dishes out. Wishmeyer from the lane. Nice little floater goes in. It's 10-8 now, Britons. As Bobby Lee gets back from Indianapolis just in time to catch the remainder of the first quarter with us here today. Brits with some full court pressure, and they're going to change the turnover right there. Cassidy Williams kind of switched pivot foots on us there right in front of us.
Foots.
Oops. That's the one that I really wanted to have down there. It's good and solid, but it was the other one that you had planted initially. So the turnover is number 2 now on the night for Trine, and gives the ball back to the Britons with 4:39 to play in the opening quarter.
Like the turnover bugaboo that the Britons have, they've shared that bug with the opponent now, and hopefully they'll take better care of the ball.
Orban, and she is guarded by Montana Martin will go backwards.
That's a push.
A little push off on Shelby Oldham. And Coach Gould up wanting to talk a little bit to the officials, saying, hey, my young lady was getting pushed, then your young lady pushed Jade Abneth. Will check in, and Haley Martin will get a chance to sit down.
That's that full arm extension.
Yep.
That's easy to call. But you're right, it's usually the responder, not the instigator. So if you're giving and getting, the official usually sees the second part.
Well, so far they've been allowing them to have a little bit of a hand check, a little bit of a bump.
That's commonplace.
That is.
In today's basketball, though. So if you're complaining about hand check, then find something else to complain about, really.
Rain Hitton gets one to Rain on through. What a nice effort by the freshman to get to the rim. Had a new center underneath, and we said we'll just try the new one out here a little bit. And had the same success going over the top of Jade Abneth as she had going over the top of Haley Martin earlier.
And I liked what the Britons were doing on defense right there, Jim. Only 2 Trine Thunder back on that side with 3 defenders. Again, though, that's the all or nothing. If they are able to beat that pressure, you have 3 offensive players on that side of the timeline to 2 defenders. And so, you know, you play the percentages. Right now they're still looking at 3 with a full and a half court trap.
Jamie Hubbard checks into the ball game here for the Britons.
If they can find the open player, which they just did. Thankfully she didn't shoot, but that was the open player right there. Nice
job by Brittany Lutz to get back and make her think about it for a half a second. You're right, Jim. She had a wide open look. Williams drives to the rim, puts it up wildly. No good. The Britons have the ball and they're on the move. Orban changes hands. Hands off to Lutz. Now they'll slow things up just a little bit.
Yep. Looks like they might be trying to work it inside right here.
They've had some really good success underneath, and that low post as Wishmeyer fights all the way down to the baseline and then gets bumped out of bounds by Cassidy Williams.
Yep. And that's tough defense right there. That's a tough whistle for the coach to hear. You're holding your ground, but you're holding it a little too firm. You're giving a little too much right there.
That is now 2 team fouls on the Trine so far tonight. In fact, make it 3 now with that one. And so far the Britons yet to commit a foul here in this first period. 3:24 to play in the opening quarter. Britons up 12-8.
Don't kid yourself, that'll change.
That will definitely change.
Fouls are like the tide, Jim. They'll come and go.
Haley Nugent checked into the ball game. She's 22 with the basketball right now. Again, this younger Britons lineup all of a sudden starting to really come in and say, hey, we're freshmen, but we can play. Wish fires from the top, no good. Rebounds battled for and comes back down to Tierra Orban. And the Brits will get a reset.
Long shot, long rebound.
Lutz, Nugent.
There you go.
Boom, from the free throw line.
I like the quick decision and confidence of these Lady Brits shooters. Shooting from the elbow and from the free throw line. They stop popping, it's hitting.
Good job of the Brits to get in front of Dawson there and make her throw that basketball away. You know she was looking for the easy lay-in, but the Britons defense hustling to get back.
I like the speed they're showing, Jim.
They really are. It's been a good basketball game here in this opening quarter.
Wide open.
2-point shot just inside the arc. And that one goes down for Shelby Oldham. First bucket of the night for Oldham, 14-10 now. It's been a while since Trine had scored. Nugent gives back to Wishmeyer.
I wasn't so worried about that, though.
I wouldn't
I just
either.
don't want the Britons to go on a cold spell. No offense to the Trine Thunder viewers out there.
Britons now trying to find a spot and Trine with their normal pesky defense. Nugent goes under and puts up a shot. Dawson there for the rebound.
Shot clock was about to expire. You had a clean look. It wasn't there's a nickel dimer on the hand right there on the way up on Wishmeyer, but I don't have a problem with that shot, Jim. I think all things considered, you weren't getting a lot of motion on that possession, and the shot clock was down to 3. You had a step through and a clean look. Almost knocked it down.
Maya Gillum and Madeline Stanley check in for the Britons right now.
Another Trine Thunder getting ready to check in, Jim. That's 25, Kayla Freeman, the senior out of Battle Creek, Michigan.
Sorry about that. That's 12, not 42. That was Brittany Lutz that came in. And also Rain Hinton back on the floor here.
And Jade Abbott sits down for the Thunder. We had 46 subs right there, Jim.
Camille Lira back in the ball game as well, that young freshman. Ball goes to the low post to Dawson, and Dawson has a way of just making magic down there. Got that good quick first step, and that's 6 now on the for Dawson here tonight.
And if you watched any of the pregame warm-ups when they were doing their 3-on-2s, she was shooting almost every time when she was on offense. So she's going to shoot, and she's going to shoot frequently. She's going to find herself open, but you know that's what good players do.
Young lady out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. They put some basketball players into all different levels out of Fort Wayne.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of good schools in that area.
11 seconds to shoot on the shot clock as this ball goes again to Dawson. Yeah, standing down there quite a bit. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2. Shot goes up, and Hinton tries to save it, but the ball goes out of bounds along with Camille Lira.
I like the hustle by Lira right there, though, Jim.
Both of these teams really showing a lot of hustle tonight, Jimmy.
Yeah.
You can tell that they know that this one means something tonight, you know?
Well, that's also, you know, again, we talk about the defense. That's some of the, that's an element to that defense that doesn't show up on the score sheet. But that's right there. That's why they only give up what they give up in a game, is because they'll dive for the loose balls. They'll hustle.
Maya Gillum has Kayla Freeman on her right now, who checked in on that last timeout. Gillum puts the ball on the floor, then back out to Hinton, but that one is knocked away but saved. And with 1 second on the shot clock again, the shot goes up, and we've got a little scrum right underneath the bucket.
I think they're going to get 32 Burness on that one.
So Burness with
maybe
the.
Not.
You remember when you said that's going to change just a little bit, those team fouls? Well, there you go.
Got it was on Gillum, actually.
Gillum with the foul. That is the Briton second now. So Trine with 3 team fouls. The Britons now with 2. Nobody in any foul trouble here early.
Nah, this again, this is basketball. You know, you get no calls for you, and then all of a sudden you get 5 going the other way. It's just, that's the way it is.
Man, I'll tell you what, that was a beautiful effort by Montana Martin. I thought she was going to run out of room there and put on the brakes right at the rim, and was able to lay that one in. Jump shot at the buzzer, and we've played 1, and these teams are locked at 14 here on the Briton Sports Network. Boy, this has been a good basketball game. You extrapolate out, Jim, that's 56-56. It's a little bit less than what the Britons are accustomed to scoring, and about 13 more a night than what Trine's willing to give up.
Yeah, but a lot more than what Trine gives up. Want to say hi to Carl Steers, Katie Steers' grandparents, watching from Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Oh, wow, there you go.
You'll have to let us know, Carl, is there more snow in Colorado Springs than there is here? I would venture to guess
I would guess so too.
Is that one of the areas with higher elevation?
Yeah, I think so. I think Colorado Springs is one of those. I'm not a skier or anything like that, but I'm sure they'll communicate with us as the night goes on.
I know Steamboat Springs is elevated, of course. Everybody knows Denver's elevated with Mile High City and all that. But, yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head if Colorado. Ken, throw it in your Google machine and see if Colorado, what the elevation of sea level elevation is of Colorado Springs. But we, in all seriousness, we have some time to kill between quarters. We appreciate everybody tuning in wherever you are around the country, and it looks like Jim has pulled up some first quarter statistics.
Well, I'm trying to pull up some first quarter statistics, Jim. You know how this computer is every now and then. It's an old guy's computer, so it works like the old guy that owns the computer. Brandy Dawson does lead everybody. Leads everybody on the Trine side.
Changes a mile.
There we go.
Yeah. So Colorado Springs Gym is over a mile. So it's bigger than Denver.
Oh, there you go.
I do like that. It's higher than Denver.
That's all you need to know right there.
Take that, Denver.
Britons will have the basketball to open up quarter number 2. Good to have you with us here on the Briton Sports Network tonight. 10 minutes in the books, and these two teams are knotted at 14. Jump shot wide open, and it finds its way to the bottom of that rim. Brittany Lutz That one was a rainbow, Jimmy. I wasn't sure whether that was ever going to come down out of the rafters, and it did, and it's in. It's 17-14.
As good a defense as Trine plays, I'm surprised that she had that much time to shoot and was able to get that much elevation on that shot.
Turnover, run out, layup, a little bit wild, but we've got a foul, and it'll go against Cassidy Williams. Cassidy not real happy with that. She was close, I'll tell you.
But I'm looking around at the gym, and all of a sudden the seats are starting to fill up. We're starting to get a little bit of noise in here. I like it.
You know what? That's what we needed here tonight, was a crowd to come in. I don't think the students are back here on campus yet. Are the students back, Andrea? Are the students back yet? Okay, so the classes have already started? Okay, well, everybody's back, and we're starting to get some folks to come in right now. First free throw goes down.
Good thing they didn't listen to that email you sent out telling them that school didn't start till next week.
Oh, that wouldn't have been a good thing, would it, huh?
Just kidding, just kidding. All the students, of course, know not to listen to us for stuff like that.
You don't ever want to listen to me when it comes to classes. How's that? That's never a good thing.
It's great to have the student section start to fill up here, though. Love to see that. Love to hear the noise.
Lyra with the basketball, and she gives it up to Katie Steers.
Nice 5-0 start to this quarter by the Brits, Jim.
Martin over to Lyra again, and the Britons off to a quick start at both quarters here tonight.
Coach Carden had 1 foot on the floor down there. Might want to scooch back.
4 seconds to shoot, 3 seconds to shoot. The shot was put up, no good by Haley Martin. And the rebound comes off to the Britons to Brittany Lutz.
I'd like to see another basket here, maybe another triple. Might force them to call a timeout. Don't force it, though.
Inside it goes to Gillum. Turnaround, no good. Fight for the rebound. Goes out off of Gillum. It'll be Trine basketball.
Gillum got that deflection off of Brandy Dawson, 23. Dawson playing some really good interior defense right there. That's the coaches always tell you, hands straight up. Dawson played that very well with their hands straight up. Did not lean, did not reach. Therefore, did not get a foul on that deflection. Good defense.
Gillum did get a seat on the bench as Wish comes back in the ball game. Evelyn Wishmeyer back into the game for the Britons now. Dawson trying to get some things set up. Gives it to Lyra. Lyra back over to Steers, and Steers works to the left side. Britons trying to keep these guys on the outside because their game is right around that rim if they can get there. Got a whistle underneath, and a foul will go against
That's an
Trine.
Offensive foul. Looks like they might get Haley Martin 14.
Yep. Martin with the push.
There.
Yeah, let's see. Who do they give that to?
They got 23 on that. That's Brandy Dawson.
So Dawson picks up her first foul here of the night.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be on Haley Martin, Jim. She was the one near the whistle, and she turned around with the. Of course, that's probably why she turned around with that look on her face, because she didn't commit the foul. How dare you call? Because you didn't commit it. You're okay. You're all right.
8 minutes to play in this second quarter. Britain's only team to score here in the quarter number 2.
Travel, yeah. Good defense.
And a travel
right
call against Wishmeyer. She ran into a brick wall with Martin down there along with Dawson.
Triple team.
Yeah.
Good help defense right there. That good communication.
Trying yet to score here in quarter number 2. Rain Hinton comes up and puts some heat on Haley Martin. She gets rid of the basketball in a hurry. Ashley Elliott is 21 who checked in on that last dead ball. Back out to Martin and over to Elliott. 11 to shoot as she'll make her move to the rim. Puts up a wild shot, but Dawson's there for the putback, and this one looked like it was coming out and then went right back home.
Yep, soft touch right there off the glass. They needed that basket too.
19-16. Rain Hinton takes a shot, no good. And that's a difficult spot. You know, that block area down there in that low post, that's where Trine makes their money, and they believe that's their area, man.
Yep, you can't give up that shot though.
No.
You can't, like we said, you know, they hit the first couple threes they tried in the game. You can't just rely on those. You're going to be disappointed. That's a travel not called right there, Jim.
Martin got it out to Dawson at the free throw line. She took a step on the inside and knocked that one down, and it's 19-18. So the Britons were off to a quick start, 5-0, and now
ran right through the
4-0
screen right
run.
there.
They are letting them play tonight, Jim.
Good. The kick.
Kick goes against Katie Steers.
With cases like that, you know, running through screens, a little bit of hand checking, stuff like that, I would always rather let them play than have the game stopped 50, 60 times by unnecessary whistles. By the way, it's 60 degrees tomorrow in Colorado Springs.
There you go. So you can go, you've got snow and you've got the perfect temperature as well.
I'll go swimming tomorrow in Colorado Springs.
3 seconds to shoot as the Brits get it up before the buzzer, but it's on the wrong side of the backboard, and the ball will go over to Trine, who will have an opportunity now to take their first lead of the quarter number 2.
I think that's the 3rd time so far in this first half that the Britons, Jim, have let that shot clock run down and had to settle for not what Coach Carden drew up, I would have to think.
Orban comes into the ball game as Lutz sits down for the Brits. Lyra drives, runs out of room, leaves it a little short, gets her own rebound, and it goes back up and in.
Follow up.
That has been the name of the game tonight so far for the Trine Thunder.
It's making your own offense right there, Jim. You miss the shot, you stay there and you collect that rebound, and the 3 Britons who were under the glass kind of disappeared.
Hinton works down along that baseline, and the reverse no good. Dawson there for the rebound. Outfought Wishmeyer for it. Now they hustle, finds the ball going through Dawson's legs and out of bounds.
Yep, and that was a good double team by the Britons that caused it, and Dawson lost the handle and scooped down to try to get that ball and deflected it between her legs backwards out of bounds right there. So the Britons get it from under their basket.
Britons would like to get in their offense a little quicker, I would think, and that's pretty quick. Quick 3-point shot, no good, but Wishmeyer is right there to pull down the rebound. Burness had her look, and you want her to take that shot, that's for sure.
Double dribble, yeah.
Turnover by the Brits on Risch. Gives the ball back to Trine. Let's see if I can get you a couple stats here now, Jimbo. How's that, huh? Britons right now shooting 40%, Trine at 52%. From behind the arc, the Britons are 3 of 7 and Trine 0 for 2, but that is not their game, no doubt about that. 9 turnovers already for the Britons, only 5 for Trine. As this ball goes out of bounds off of the white team there, off the home team.
Paige Risch right there with the
rebounds are equal, man. 9 for Trine, 8 for the Britons right now. Second chance point, 4 for the Britons, 2 for Trine right now. Points in the paint, 14 points in the paint right now for Trine Thunder. That's where they want to do their business, and they are. 0 seconds as they run out of time. Nice job by both teams playing defense tonight, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's the drawback to being on the opposite end of your coach right there is when they got the ball in bounds up near midcourt, he hollered 10 seconds. But again, just enough noise in here from the student section and the rest of the fans here that the Thunder ladies didn't hear it. Didn't get the shot off in time. Turn it over.
Brandy Dawson with 8 points for Trine right now. Brittany Lutz with 6 and Emily Burness with 5 for the Britons. Those are the leading scorers here in the ball games. We're almost midway through quarter number 2.
I think Risch is looking for a screen up top, but nobody's coming up top to set the screen.
Ball goes into Hinton. She'll work down the paint against Martin. Left that a little short because of Martin, and Martin pulls down the rebound.
Yep. You got to change your angle at that point.
You can see why she's so difficult, Jimmy.
Yeah, you're going to have to deliver your shot a little earlier, a little stronger, maybe a little more English on the ball. Take what the defender gives you.
Britons now trying to do the same thing as Nugent, playing some good defense out front, but a kick on the inside. I'm not sure whether it was Orban or Wishmeyer that got the boot to that ball, but either way, it will reset the shot clock to 15.
Jamie Hubbard checks in, and
Rain Hinton goes
Rain Hinton takes a seat, yep.
So it will be Trine basketball underneath their bucket. They're up 20-19. So the scoring now starting to get more into a Trine level. Here as we've slowed down just a little bit in this second quarter. 3-point shots off the mark and out of bounds. Wow, that was way off. Montana Martin, the 5'10 junior, launched that one up. And it caught nothing but the big old purple Briton logo underneath the bucket.
And Martin, a 29% 3-point shooter on the season, so uncharacteristic miss.
So the timeout called by the Britons. They'll go over to the bench, and it's a 2019 ball game right now. And I would think that Coach Carden right now relatively happy with what she's seen, although they've gone through a bit of a dry spell right now, Jim.
Started off hot at the beginning of the second quarter. Went on a nice 5-0 run, as you'll recall, tied at 14 They haven't scored since.
Yeah.
So 6-0 run to erase that 5-0 start. And the Trine Thunder now have a 1-point lead as we are still in second quarter action. And we'll get you at the end of the first half, we'll get you halftime statistics, and we'll take a little break, and we'll reset for the start of the second half. The stream will stay intact. We might just play a little background music, but we will give you a full breakdown of the first half, including stats, and get you ready for the second half. Thankfully, we have another 4 minutes and change, though, of first half basketball to play here at Kresge Gymnasium.
Brits will bring the ball up. It's Risch. She'll give it over to Tara Orban. Back to Wischmeyer. Wischmeyer drives down the lane. Had the ball pulled away from her at the last second there by Ashley Elliott. Trying to the other end. Dawson for three from the right corner. No good. Rebound fought for, and Dawson comes up with it.
Yep.
Putback's a little bit short, but she was fouled on the way up. So instead of the and one, she'll get a chance to go shoot a couple from the free throw line.
Yep, but it's a common thing you see with a lot of the Trine Thunder players, Jim, is they don't stand around after their shot. They shoot and they follow. And then they get those rebounds, and they'll put it on the deck once, and then they'll be right in position like Freeman was right there to give herself a good look. Got fouled, knocked down the first free throw. And the second one is up and good as well. So
in fact,
Thunder lead extends to 3.
My apologies. That is Freeman, not Dawson, on those 2 free throws there.
But yeah, just following her shot, Jim. Putting it on the floor once, and she's in layup mode right there, and you have to foul.
22-19 right now. The Britons down by 3 in a very competitive basketball game. Nugent with a head fake brings it across the lane. Tries to get her man up in the air, maybe take a shot. 5 seconds to shoot. 4, 3. Shot put up with just 1 second on that shot clock was a forced shot, and the rebound comes off to Trine. And they're coming in a hurry. Elliott kicks it to the corner. That's Dawson. And that young lady is having a pretty good night here again. Brandy Dawson, the junior, now in double digits.
Nickel Dimer on the floor. This might be against Oldham. I haven't been very good with calling my fouls so far, but this one is against Oldham, and that's number 2 against her as we get a couple subs from both teams. Yeah.
Britons will bring Brittany Lutz in. Katie Neary also into the ball game here for the first time tonight.
You can almost call that a line change in hockey.
Emily Burness comes in as well. Camille Lira back on the floor now for the Trine Thunder. And underneath, they've changed to Shea Herbert. Jump shot for 3 from the corner for Wischmeyer, and we've closed that gap down to 2, 24-22. First bucket for Wischmeyer here in a while.
That was a must. They get a cheapie on Wischmeyer right there on the reach.
Wisch now with five points, and that's her second foul now of the night.
Camille Lira right there, Jim, had a Trine Thunder player in the backcourt with her. Wouldn't give the ball up, though. Kept it and forced the dribble all the way up. Got the whistle right there, got helped out, but, you know, give it to your teammate. Make life a little easier for you. Take a breath.
Brits now 4 of 8 from behind the arc, so they're hitting 50% of their long distance connections here this evening. Dawson gives the basketball up to Lira. Lira tries to take a shot, but it gets blocked by Wischmeyer. Dawson's right there to get it. And man, I'll tell you what, she found that glass and put the ball in that square. And just like that.
Just like they drew it up.
She is, you know why she was first team all-conference last year and a preseason All-American second team picked by D3 Hoops.
Kind of player that can score from just about anywhere.
Nugent drives in and kicks out.
There you go.
Jump shot from the free throw line is perfect by Jamie Hubbard. And it's 26-24.
This is where you want to be. You want to be hanging around near the end of the first half. Don't want to let them go on a 4-6-0 run right here. You want to try to maybe tie it, maybe even squeak by with the lead at the end of the first half.
They were tied at 14 at the end of 1. As the drive through the lane, boy, I'll tell you what, Kayla Freeman shows you some pretty nice athleticism as well. I think that's why I got the two of them mixed up a little bit. I think not only young Miss Dawson had that ability, but Freeman, a very active young lady as well. 28-24. Kicks it down in the corner. Brits have been pretty good at finding a spot and getting that 3-ball off tonight. And there's Wishmeyer again. Got it. Yes. I'll trade you 2 for 3 all night long. 28-27. We're under a minute to play in the quarter.
So long as you knock down a bunch of your threes.
Lyra throws this one too long. It's out of bounds over the head of Shea Herbert. And it will be Briton's basketball with 51 seconds left to go in the quarter. And a little line change again. Gillum back into the ball game for the Britons along with Haley Nugent.
Need a good possession here, Jim. And you need to play some good defense on the other end. Probably going to get 2 possessions.
I think it'd be a big plus if you could go in that locker room tonight with even a 1-point lead here. That kind of confidence.
Ooh.
The drive was a good one by Brittany Lutz. The shot was close. It didn't go in, and the foul goes against Trine's Camille Lyra.
Yeah, and she had her hands up. She's absolutely right. It's what she was doing with the hip. That's what the official noticed, is she was hip on hip right there, and then she had the hands up, but the hip was kind of, you know, forcing her to the ground. So
you can hip check there
an easy call,
in hockey, but it doesn't work real well in basketball. First free throw is good. Lutz is a 72% shooter from the charity line. 28-28, so we've just doubled up that first quarter right now. And the second one a little short. The rebound fought for, battled with, and finally controlled by Shea Herbert.
And if Gillum had tipped that one straight up, probably would have got that 50-50 ball, Jim.
Britons will get the ball back with at least 6 seconds left to go on that clock. Lyra works into the lane, then dishes out to Freeman. She'll drive the hole.
Man.
Leaves it a little short, and the rebound comes off the Brits. Emily Burness.
So strong on the dribble, though, Jim.
Turn off the shot clock. Brits have the last shot here. It's tied at 28 as we're heading towards the half. 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Jump shot, the buzzer, no good, and the rebound comes off to Trine. And we just duplicated this first quarter here in the second quarter. It was 14-14 at the end of the one. It's 28-28 right now at halftime. And the Britons and the Thunder are battling here at the Kresge.
Freeman came up a little rough
gimpy
on
there,
that landing. Yeah, look, couldn't tell if that was an ankle or a knee or what, but she was slow to get up at the end there, so hopefully she's all right.
Let's see if I can, I've got another phone working here to see if I can got any other scores out there right now as we let everybody update all the stats for us real quick. And at this moment, I've got 0-0s everywhere. Around the league tonight, Kalamazoo's at Calvin. St. Mary's is hosting Hope tonight. Trine obviously here, and Adrian's at Olivet, and that's the women's schedule here tonight. And Jimmy's stats tonight, I'll tell you, it's been 14 points. So that's been the key. 14 points in the first quarter, 14 points in the second quarter.
Well, you like the parity. I mean, and if, you know, again, like you talked about, Trine giving up, you know, in the 40s, especially the last few games, 30-some a game, for the Lady Brits to be at 28 at halftime. Certainly have to think that this potentially plays into an area defensively where the Thunder aren't as comfortable, but offensively, you know, they're able to put 70 on the board with some regularity. So offensively speaking, this is right up their alley. Defensively, I think especially once you get into the fourth quarter, if they're into the 40s or 50s, that's going to be, you know, that's where you're going to want to lean on the student section and the home crowd a little bit to make a little bit of extra noise, see if you can maybe throw the Thunder off their game. But again, it's a well-coached, well-balanced team. I don't know that a little crowd noise is going to mess them up too much, but what's it going to hurt?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Get the crowd fired up.
Let's get them fired up and just see how it goes. How's that sound, huh? All right, let's check some stats here real quick. For Trine tonight, Jim, they're shooting 50% from the floor, man, 13 for 26. They have not hit a three-point shot tonight. They're 0 for 4 from behind the arc. They're 2 for 2 from the free throw line so far. 7 turnovers. They've gotten 8 points off of Briton's turnovers. Have 14 rebounds so far of the evening, 4 of the offensive variety and 10 on the defensive side. 6 assists, 1 block, 5 steals, and 16 fouls so far. They've gotten 10 points off of their bench and 8 second chance points. And more importantly for them, 14 points in the paint. For the Britons, they only have 2 points in the paint right now, 2 second point chances. So again, that plays into that offensive dominance on that backboard. 4 points off the bench so far. As a team, they have 4 total team fouls, 2 steals, 1 block, 8 assists tonight, 9 defensive rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds. And again, that's 1 less defensive rebound than Trine and 2 less offensive rebounds. Total rebounds 11 tonight so far for the Britons. Points off turnovers only 3 compared to 8 for Trine. And 10 turnovers compared to the 7 turnovers here for Trine tonight. For the Britons, though, the interesting part, they're not shooting quite that well as far as what they'd like to be. Let's see, on the year right now, they're shooting about 41%, so they're right about at their pace. They're shooting 42.9% right now, 9 of 21 from the floor. But Jim, they've hit 5 of 10 3-point shots here tonight at 50%. Okay,
and they're only a 31% shooting or 32% shooting 3-point team, so you have to be ecstatic at that. But you also, again, you have to know that in all likelihood, you're not going to continue to shoot 50% from downtown, so you're going to have to develop that inside game.
No doubt about it, and they're going to have to figure out a way to get down in the inside, probably with the rain hitting, or a Jamie Hubbard or somebody like that who comes on and all of a sudden finds a way to get to the rim. Brandy Dawson leads all scorers right now. She has 12 points, hit 6 out of 7, Jim. How's that? Pretty efficient night.
Pretty good. Yep.
Kayla Freeman with 6 points so far. Camille Lira with 4. Shelby Oldham has 2. Montana Martin with 2 so far tonight. And let's see, the Katie Steers, I think we've got some of her relatives watching tonight. She has the only other bucket of the night here so far for Trine. You total those all up and you're at 28. On the Briton side of the scoring ledger here tonight, as we wait for this thing to bounce on over. You know how that works. I got to go down here and bounce it. There we go. Let's try it this way. If you hit the right logo, you get the right things to happen. Evelyn Wishmeyer with 8 for the Brits tonight. She's 2 for 3 from behind the arc. 2 rebounds and also 3 assists tonight for Wish. Brittany Lutz with 7 points. Emily Burness with 5. Rain Hinton with 4. Haley Nugent with 2. And Jamie Hubbard with 2 for the Britons here tonight. So that pretty well sums it up. All in all, both teams have done a nice job tonight of keeping fresh bodies on the floor, and I think it's almost imperative that happens. That happens tonight too, Jim, because of the pace of this ball game. 28-28 does not seem like a game that has been the foot race that this one has been. Up and down the floor, the solid defensive possessions on both ends. This has been a game that normally you'd be sitting here calling this at maybe 42-42 instead of 28-28.
I think this is also a game where, because of the importance of ball protection and guard play, missing Sam Carter is one of those things that you look at the score at 28-28. They've limited the amount of turnovers, even though they did go through that stretch where they turned it over, I think, on 3 straight possessions. But missing a player like Sam Carter, who takes good care of the basketball, Jim, you know, to be tied and to be as successful in breaking the pressure as they've been, you know, says a lot for the way the young ladies have stepped up for the guard play for the Britons. You know, you like the tenacity on the defense. They haven't given up too many easy looks. You know, Trine has done a pretty good job of following up on their misses and giving themselves second chance point opportunities. But they, you know, nobody has made anybody pay for any huge mistakes so far. Both teams have, you know, done some good things offensively. They both shot themselves in the foot from time to time. But this is what happens when 2 good teams play.
Yeah.
You know, the offenses will get their points in bunches, but you know, there are also going to be periods of time where, you know, it's going to be a little bit more of a defensive struggle, and that's because you have 2 pretty good defenses out here too. So, you know, it's going to be fast-paced like you said, but it isn't always going to translate to a lot of points, and that's the kind of game you're seeing tonight. You're seeing 2 just really well-coached, good basketball teams, and you know, you certainly hope for a second half-point explosion in quarters 3 and 4, but don't be surprised if it ends up in the mid to high 50s and it's a nail-biter. That's the way the game's going.
Evelyn Wishmeyer with 2 personal fouls for the Britons. Cassidy Williams with 2 personal fouls right now for the Trine Thunder. Everybody else has either 1 foul or no fouls whatsoever. It's been a very clean basketball game, a whole lot of effort and a whole lot of fun so far. It was 14-14 at the end of 1. It's 28-21, 8 at halftime. As the way that things are going right now, this could go to quadruple overtime tonight, Jimmy. But we're going to step away right now, get a drink, take a break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, get you ready for the second half here on the Briton Sports Network.
We're going to begin construction on a new downtown studio theater. Now, this space is going to be located in a storefront right on Superior Street adjoining the Bohm Theater. And we're so excited about this because it's going to be a true shared use facility. It's going to be just as much a part of the college as it is a part of the community art scene. It can be converted just within the course of a few hours from a live music venue. It has a sprung floor, so it will be perfect for dance performances. There's a large playing space that will accommodate theater in lots of different configurations. We could do things in the rounds. We could do things in a thrust space if we like. Our students are so enthusiastic about being able to take the campus art scene downtown. And so we're no longer going to just be in the community of Albion, but actually of the community. That means that we want to perform downtown. The students want to reach a broader audience. They want to draw in people from Albion and the surrounding towns, and they want to attract a bigger dialogue and host forums that attract people far and wide. Additionally, this facility is going to allow the organizations in town that have currently nowhere to perform or rehearse, and it's going to have an open door feel where anybody who is interested and focused and has a plan to present a piece of art, be it dance or live music or theater or anything else that someone can dream up, will have an appropriate venue available to them for the first time. And this is really something that we see as a cultural beachhead in town. This is a way to show that Albion is invested in growing and collaborating with the local art scene. The theater department especially is so thrilled about this project because it's the first step in revitalizing our facilities as a department and is hopefully the first phase of what will eventually become an expanded, brand new theater arts complex right downtown in the heart of Albion. We're so grateful for your support, and we appreciate you dreaming with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
I'm also a science major in pre-med, and I have to take a lot of hard classes, and just being able to go into the practice room and just take out all my stress on the piano is really a great feeling.
Music and the music department as a whole has been so important to me because that's where my family is. People like me coming together and creating something that's more than us, something that's so beautiful and so important to us that it just sort of transcends everything else that we do.
Everyone, it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what language you speak, you can understand whether I'm playing like a melodious piece or whether I'm playing an angry piece, you know, music is universal.
I came from a very traditional family, very musical all the way through. I sang in choirs in church all the way through high school. My parents loved opera, and so they would take me and my two older brothers to the opera. And I loved that aspect of music because it was not only singing, but it was dancing, it was everything all combined into one.
Well, our first gifts were very small, but eventually we started giving more and just kept stepping it up whenever we could. We saw our gifts being used and utilized in a proper and in a moral, ethical way. And so we were encouraged to keep giving more. We started thinking, what are the things that are missing on the Albion College campus that we could try to get to come in to increase the enrollment and increase the experiences of the students that are there.
Anything to get the music department out of the basement of the chapel is a good idea. To have a music building and a special place that they can call their home should make for a much more interesting adventure to a lot of young people.
I walked out of the chapel steps today as we come out of the basement, and I'm standing in front of my band, you know, my friends, my family, and I said, I want nothing more than for people to be able to see us, for people to appreciate everything we've put in.
I think a new music facility will be such a huge improvement and will be so beneficial to not just the music department, but to the college as a whole.
The more we thought about it, we said, you know, it makes sense because music is the language of the universe. So why not go with the music? The choice that the campus helped us with was a good one.
We would encourage others to give back to Albion as we have, because it has enriched our lives.
Music is such a discipline that you have to be a determined person. You have to be very diligent. You have to practice your instrument and hone your craft every single day. And that kind of work ethic goes over to my business studies. It goes over to French and Spanish. It goes over to my jobs. It allows me to work harder and become a more well-rounded student. So music indirectly impacts everything else that I do here at Albion.
So the music building is a special gift that we thought would be really a needed thing for the campus and for the students. It's not for us, it's for them.
Welcome back to the Kresge here. Jim Funderburg along with Jim Bellamy as we're getting ready for half number 2. And Jim, real good ball game going in Trine here tonight as well with the men who are in Trine playing the men from the Thunderland there. And that's a good ball game as well at half.
Yep, and I think was it
45-43.
45-43, okay.
Yeah.
Another tight battle, and, you know, again, two pretty evenly matched squads, and hopefully you're enjoying this women's broadcast tonight. 28 apiece at halftime, 14 apiece at the end of quarter number 1. So to say that they're playing an even and they're playing consistent would be one of the understatements of the century so far. Certainly don't expect it to be a 56-56 tie at the end of regulation, but you certainly would like to see it continue to be this nip and tuck battle. And selfishly, as a Briton Sports Network broadcaster, I'd love for the Lady Brits to knock down the game-winning shot at the end of regulation, but we have a lot of basketball to play before we get to that point.
Back to the original starters. It's Risch, Lutz, Wischmeyer, Burrows, and Hinton for the Brits, as the opening bucket of the third quarter will be scored by Haley Martin. And it's Lyra, Williams, Martin, Dawson, and Steers to open things up for the Trine Thunder.
And Lutz came over late on the help right there for the foul. And they incorrectly, I was going to say they had 14 on the board, but I think that was the last foul called against Haley Martin. As our 14, Sam Carter, is injured this evening with a walking boot.
No doubt about that. And the follow-up on the free throw makes it a three-point play the old-fashioned way. 31-28 is the first 3 points of the second half, scored by the Trine Thunder on a bucket and a free throw.
Critical start here to the second half. You don't want to let Trine get off to a 5 or 6 or 7-0 run right here.
Risch behind her back and then back out front. Hinton puts the ball on the floor, drives the baseline, gets cut off.
Nice kick.
Three-point shot a little bit too far, and the rebound comes off to Katie Steers for Trine. Brits, as we said, hit 50% of their three-point tries in the first half, Jim. They're going to have to do something similar, I would think, to be in this ball game at the end.
Just have to play good defense, too, though.
Steers
can't give up a basket on this possession.
8 seconds to shoot. Martin kicks it to Williams, cutting the lane, and she's got the basket with just 2 ticks on that shot clock.
5-0 run to start the quarter. Good patience by Trine on that possession.
Risch brings it into the front court to Lutz. All the way down, got the bucket and the continuation.
Yeah, that was some serious. That was an extra dribble or two after the bump right there. I can see why the Trine bench asking, are you sure?
Ryan Gould down here questioning just a little bit.
Are you sure?
But, you know, she had, if you look at it, and we don't have a replay here at this point in time to watch as the free throw goes in, she did have that ball kind of in that spot where she was ready to go towards the shot. The official considered it continuation. Williams kicks it out to Martin for the wing for a three-pointer. And the center able to knock that one down. I believe that was 2. She was just inside that three-point arc. 33-31 right now. So we go back up here real quick.
Just gave her 3.
Here you go. You see the replay, Jimmy, on that that and one. So see, she was actually
it was close.
Had the ball up, was actually making that move, as they say, gathering and heading towards that rim.
I thought she, yeah, at first glance, I thought she put it on the floor one more time. But that was the right call, continuation right there. And that last shot was a triple by the Thunder. Extends their lead to 5, 36-31. Early in quarter number 3. Again, the difference in men's and women's is the women play 4 equal quarters, the men play 2 halves, and so that's why we're talking about quarter 3.
Yeah. You know, they changed that back last year. Before that, we always halves on both sides.
I think I'd rather have it as halves as well, but this is
NCAA decided that wasn't the way that we're going to do it, and
we're going to smile and say that sounds great. Let's call some basketball.
All right, to open everything up here, it's a 7-3 run by Trine here in the first minute and a half of this third quarter. The Britons now with an opportunity, and really don't, as you said, need to lose touch with these young ladies early in this third quarter. Drive all the way down the lane again. This shovel by Brittany Lutz.
And Jim, it looked like they changed that field goal back to a 2.
Yeah, I think that was correct.
35-33, and I think you had it right on the money.
I think that was correct. She was just outside as Dawson knocks one off the glass from the right block. Dawson now with a dozen on the night.
So it's 37-33. The Thunder lead is 4.
Martin had a nice stroke on that three-point shot, but she had 1 foot inside that arc. And we got a traveling call on Rain Hinton as she tried to get around Martin to get to that rim.
Yep, caught it and had a little bit of a hop right there as she tried to do a curl. Turn it over. Still 7:40 to play, quarter number 3. A lot of ball left.
Britons down with a little bit of full court pressure. Williams over to Martin. Nice job by Brittany Lutz to come down and knock that ball out of bounds. Looked like Martin had an easy lay-in. Lutz came out of nowhere and smacked it up into the student section.
Yep, and that is a good lesson to learn right there. Is looks open, but window closes fast. So if you're going to get it there, you better get it there fast.
Wide up and look on the right side by Steers, but she'll drive to the rim and she'll draw the foul on Hinton. I believe it's Hinton. It's either Hinton or Wishmeyer. If it's Wishmeyer, that's 3. That'll go against. I
can think of Wishmeyer on that one.
Yep, that's on Wish. That's 3 on Evelyn here tonight.
Jim and Bernice Carden watching from Clinton Township, Michigan.
First free throw.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Like Katie Steers, who only hits 2 out of 3, and Wishmeyer still not really believing that foul went against her instead of Hinton.
Well, if I would have said it was Wishmeyer, then it would have been on somebody else, because I haven't been very good at the changing that too. They're going to get Neary on that one.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know about Neary, but
okay, I'm still looking at scoreboard as 24, but I think
okay. Yep, that's Katie Steers at the free throw line right now.
The last foul, yeah.
She hit 1 out of 2, and I believe it probably went on Hinton instead. She was the young lady I thought was going to be called for the foul. Had the turnover and then came down and I thought got the foul, and Wish was going to go to the bench here with foul number 3. Instead, she stays on the floor.
Yeah, that's where you just kind of throw your hand up if you're the other player and you say, it was on me, I was there, it was on me.
Brittany Lutz, again, driving towards the rim with reckless abandon, gets the foul.
And the wrap on the left elbow, I think, is a new accessory for the second half too. So
Steers with the foul. That's her first.
Obviously hasn't impacted her game though.
Lutz knocks down the first free throw. Brittany hits 72% here so far on the year.
4-point game, 38-34 with 7:11 to play.
13, now 14 points for Lutz here tonight. And this ball game again, just a 3-point contest.
Good pressure by the Brits.
Wishmeyer gives her off to Orban. Back over to Lyra, who drive the lane and then pulls it back out. Martin from that same spot she hit that 2 a minute ago. This one goes off the hands of Paige Risch and will remain Trine basketball as they'll reset that 30-second clock.
Brandy Dawson fighting for that rebound. Did a good job not to go over the top right there and draw the whistle.
Williams kicks it down into Dawson. Because of Wishmeyer's 2 personal fouls, she just really has to play some token defense, and Brandy goes up over top of her for the easy bucket.
And Dawson on those interior shots, Jim, starts from about just above her waist on that shot. She has a low delivery point.
Oh my goodness, Rain Hinton says I'm straight on and I've got a wide open 3. Let's just make one here. 38-37. Whistle in the backcourt.
Inadvertent horn, it sounded like. Got to reset the shot clock. As you can see, the shot clock down here was down to 7 already.
Yeah. Officials caught that one quickly and turned everything off. It is Rob Stanaway, Cosette Ely, and Tim Swain tonight, the officials doing the ball game this evening. In this MIAA contest between the number 2 team and the number 3 team in the conference. Trine comes in at number 2 with just the 2 losses here on the year at 14-2. Albion in at 11-4 and 5-2 in the conference. Trine's only loss again to Hope by 11, as they're 6-1 right now in the MIAA, as we're really into the thick of things here with the conference play.
And Hope again 16-0 overall in the season, 7-0 in the conference. I mean, you know, we saw we saw firsthand, Jim. They are a championship basketball club, but it also, you know, certainly leaves you feeling optimistic, not just for this game, but for the season for Coach Carden. They played them all the way to the wire, and they play them well every time.
They really do.
And you know, that's, you know, it's, the ceiling is high, I think, for this Britain's basketball squad.
Well, and when you take a look at this team, Jim, and you look at the amount of seniors on the team, you know, Aaron Nelson, who got hurt and really has not played this year as a senior. Tiara Orban is another senior. Katie Neary, a senior. The rest of these young ladies primarily are freshmen and sophomores that are playing. So the next 2 or 3 years look good here for the Britons. 15 seconds to shoot for Trine. They have a 2-point lead. Ball gets swung over to Katie Steers, and then it comes back out to Lyra. 4 to shoot. Lyra goes down the lane, has it knocked away by Wishmeyer, and they're going to say Wish picked up number 3. The entire student section not happy with it as they're right there watching it. And it was close, man. It was close.
Ball right there.
It did. I don't know whether we got a replay on that one at all or not, but that one was a very close one right there at the rim. The official right on top of it. And that now is 3 fouls on Wishmeyer. Lyra misses her first one. She only hits 4 out of 10, and Wish will have to take a seat on the bench as Emily Burness comes into the ball game.
I like the noise.
I do too, and the second one somehow finds its way in as it hit flat on the back of the rim and then just trickled on down. 41-38.
It's when you know you have a shooter's touch, when you can hit that soft spot on the rim and have it just kind of die there and roll in like that. Does not happen very often.
Burness kicks it down inside to Lutz on the right corner, back out to Burness. A swing to the left side. Orban with a shot, no good, and yet we do have a Trine player down, but the ball's in the possession of the Brits, and they're not going to give it up until they score.
You can't stop the play in the middle like that. Yeah.
Nope.
And she's obviously very injured, Jim, right ankle.
Looks like Haley Martin, too. That's not a good sign at all if you're a Trine Thunder fan.
No.
Haley Martin with a right ankle that does not look like it's...
No, she can't put any weight on it right now, Jim. And I can totally understand the coach's frustration. I mean, you know, you and I are both parents. You think about if that was one of our kids out there, you know, I'd be up in arms as well, saying, you know, hey, I don't want anything to happen. I don't want somebody to roll on, or I don't want, you know, you want to protect your players.
No doubt. But the rule of the game is that the ball's still in play and it's in your opposition's hands. It just keeps going.
Yeah, yeah.
So at this moment, with 5:33 to play here in the third quarter, the Britons find themselves down by 1.
I like that she's
Haley Martin
putting weight on it by herself.
Yeah,
that's encouraging.
That is a good news, and she's getting a nice round of applause from everybody here.
Well, you always say, Jim, you know, you want to see both teams at full strength, and I know, you know, Carter being out for the Brits, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. You want to see both teams at full strength playing their best basketball. So hopefully, you know, whatever that is, ankle, whatever, it's something that she can walk off and still come back and have an impact on tonight's game.
Couple scores around the area. Adrian in the women's side up 46-43 over Olivet in the third quarter. As we're working on a 10-second call, and Trine just gets it into the front court. Boy, that was 9 ticks on the shot clock. One more, and that was coming back.
It was almost a travel, too.
5:15 to play, third quarter, 10 to shoot here for Trine. As they brought Freeman in to sub for Martin. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Dawson gets it off, and ice water in the veins, falling out of bounds, knocks it down with some great defense being played.
Yeah, because that looked like a really bad possession potentially for Trine, but man, they just so calm, so collected.
Trying to feed Rain Hinton, and the ball not thrown exactly where Hinton needed to be. Dawson comes up with it, and she'll be fouled. 43-40. We thought we were going to run out of shot clock on the other end, and I'll tell you what a nice job by Brandy Dawson to pull that out, because I'm not sure that she could see the bucket where she let loose of that ball. She ended up out of bounds once she got the shot off. 43-40. Trine on the common foul will bring it in. 2 fouls right now on Trine as a team. 4 fouls now on the Britons here midway through quarter number 3. Williams brings it in and then gets rid of it to Shelby Oldham. Back to Williams.
You got to think that Cassidy Williams out there is going to play facilitator.
Ball comes back out to Williams, 12 to shoot.
She doesn't look like a shooter out there, Jim. Looks more like a guard facilitator.
Ball goes into Dawson, who gets a double team, and she finds a cutter coming down that baseline, and a nice job by Dawson to find Montana Martin for the easy lay-in.
Great fundamentals right there, Jim. Good patience. Again, that's going to be an offensive foul. Yeah, high screen right there on
Hinton.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, Burness, I think, actually.
Oh, Burness got it?
I think.
Yep, I think you're right.
Emily Burness with the high screen right there.
45-40, you're right. Burness with the call. That's her first tonight. More importantly, though, it allows Trine to have the basketball with a 5-point lead. And the last 2 times down the floor, you've turned it away without it getting a shot. Oldham gives the basketball off to Martin. Martin brings it to the top of the key and then gives it to Freeman. Freeman to Williams. Williams with a double team and a walk.
Slid the foot.
Got into a lot of trouble there all of a sudden.
Yeah, she planted, but then the foot slid. And that's what drew the whistle.
Had no exit strategy, as they say in certain instances. 45-40, 3:47 to play, quarter 3. Brits need a bucket. Risch brings it up. She has Oldham on her. Ball swings around, head fake by Orban. She goes down the lane, and they're going to call that one on Dawson.
That's a tough call right there, Jim.
Yep. Well, very similar to the call that went against Wishmeyer here a little while ago.
Yeah, both of them, you know, I think you play through. But, you know, if you have to call one, you have to call the other.
Well, in fact, they're going to give that to Kayla Freeman, not Dawson. So they'll say Freeman with the foul. That's her first one of the evening. Free throw's a little bit short by Orban, who only hits every other shot from the free throw line. 54% on the year. Checking into the ball game comes Haley Martin, and Freeman will come to the bench. And also for the Brits, here comes Haley Nugent in. And Paige Risch will take a seat. Second free throw on its way, and it's also no good. And Dawson with the interior position to take it away from Rain Hinton. Dawson going to bring it to the front court and then keep it. I thought she was going to give it up. She thought second.
The defense kind of disappeared on her when she turned around, but wasn't able to advance it beyond her spot.
Williams kicks it over to Martin, and Martin sizes it up, and Montana, the 5'10 junior, drops down a three-pointer, and now it's an 8-point spread. Into Hinton, the double team, the turnaround, the ball tipped.
Yep.
Martin got a hand on that one. Cassidy Williams, her team up by 8, looking to spread this into double digits. Montana Martin back out to Dawson, over to Williams.
Brits have to get a stop here.
Oldham hangs on to it, 10 to shoot. Down to Dawson. She fights her way in against Rain Hinton, and Hinton stands her ground. The shot wild. Brits with the basketball. Tierra Orban.
They got the stop. Now they need the basket.
Over to Nugent. No easy looks here in the third quarter for the Brits. Hinton for three. No, a little hard. Ball tipped around. Back out to Hinton. Brits with a full on 4.
Had the look.
They'll reset. 23 seconds now on the shot clock. Nugent puts it on the floor. Drives and dishes. Hinton from straight away downtown. Nothing but swish. 48-43.
Timeout. Lady Britons.
Brits want to talk a few things over, and that's just the perfect time for us. 2:01 to play third quarter. 48-43, and Jimmy, they needed that bucket. You know, down 8, threatening to go down double digits. They need to be able to claw their way back into this thing. Keep it close going to that fourth quarter, I would think.
Yeah, because 10 points against a team with such good defense and such discipline. The Thunder have shown throughout the evening that they're more than happy to take the shot clock all the way down. That obviously shortens the game a great deal. And when you play good defense, you take up the entire shot clock on offense, it basically leaves you no room for error if you're the Britons. And so to stave off that possession to potentially go down 10 or 11 points and to come down on the other end and get a second chance and knock down a 3 to cut the lead to 5, that's huge for Coach Carden. And hopefully it's something they continue to build on here as we near the end of quarter number 3 in this big MIAA matchup.
Couple of scores from around the area right now. Hope's just rolling over St. Mary's tonight, 63-19, as they're just about to start the fourth quarter. And Adrian on top of Olivet, 55-43, as they're likewise starting quarter number 4. One other game, that's Kalamazoo and Calvin, and we'll get you a score on that one here in just a minute. Minute and 54 to play, quarter number 3 here. Martin with the bounce pass. Should go to the rim, no good. Ball fought for by Freeman, and Freeman's the one that knocked it out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's the right call. She was trying to help the official right there with the recommendation, but that was the right call. It was off her hands, and again, fighting to try to get the loose ball. You know, that's the good players are always around that ball.
Let's say one other thing too. Haley Martin back in the ball game. She's the one that took the shot after she twisted that ankle on the other end about 4 minutes ago.
Thank goodness.
Good to see her back in the game. Nugent puts one up, no good. Rebound fought for, and Freeman comes off with it. And the Brits will draw the foul on Jamie Hubbard going after that loose basketball.
And the way she was unable to put any weight on that foot and wasn't getting up anytime soon, that was a scary deal. But to see her back out there already, I mean, you know, to be 19, 20 years old again and be able to injure yourself that bad and just, I'm all right, get up.
Yeah,
walk it off for a few minutes and right back on the floor.
On the other end right now, Kayla Freeman, as the intensity picks up just a little bit. Freeman knocks down the first one. She hits 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. Calvin's on top of Kalamazoo right now by 20, 50-30. They're at about the same spot in the third quarter we are, as Freeman knocks them both down. Now it's a 7-point lead again. And just like that, Trine now in the bonus, Jimmy, with that last foul. Britons need a bucket here. Just over a minute to play, 14 to shoot. Nugent won't take the shot, should go inside.
Good block.
Ball gets blocked away by, again, Martin. And will go out of bounds, and the Brits ball with 7 seconds left to play in the on the shot clock here.
61 seconds left in quarter number 3, a 7-point advantage for the Trine Thunder.
Neary gets rid of the ball. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Takes it up, the shot, a little short, didn't catch anything, and that will be a shot clock violation as it didn't catch iron. Pretty much Brittany Lutz trying to maybe get her defender to commit a little bit and maybe catch one of those NBA fouls you see all the time, but wasn't biting. Trine doesn't really play basketball like the Indiana Pacers do. Left wing, three-point jump shot too high. Freeman there with the rebound. Lost the ball as she was heading the other way, and it's a jump ball situation.
A good call. Yep.
And the arrow pointed towards Trine.
That was a good defensive play right
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry. Arrow pointed towards the Britons.
Falling down, could have got the walk, but instead had a hand on top of the ball as we go under 35 seconds to play in the third quarter. Still a 7-point deficit for the Britons.
Britons need to make a bucket here before this quarter is over. 26 ticks on the clock, 18 ticks on the shot clock, so there's about an 8-second differential.
Nice cut.
Nice backdoor cut for an easy bucket. Emily Bernis with an easy 2.
At a deflection, you get all the people flying down for the rebound opportunity. You get a deflection, knocking that one in the stands, so they had to stop that. Stop the clock momentarily.
Ashley Elliott looking to inbounds this pass. 14 seconds, 13 seconds. Ball gets over to Shelby Oldham, who brings it up in the front. 8 seconds, 7. Ashley Elliott gives it up. Right corner, 2 seconds, 1 second. Ball hits the front iron, no good. Rebound comes off to the Brits. And 3 quarters are now in the books. And for the first time, we don't have a deadlock here at the end of 3. Britons outscored by 5 in quarter number 3, and we have a 50-45 basketball game. But again, Jimmy, point-wise, I mean, Britons all year long, they're allowing about 55 points a game, so they're very close to giving up what they normally do here. And for the Trine Thunder, they're only allowing 43. In fact, they under 41 in the conference. They've allowed now more points to the Britons so far tonight than they normally allow after 4 quarters. So I was happy to see the Brits get that last bucket to cut it to 5. Now they need to go on about a 7 or 8-0 run to open up quarter number 4 to get back into control of this ball game.
And that's what it's about. It's about control. They're going to need to do a better job on offense in this quarter. I know that sounds, silly to say. Of course they need to do better on offense. They need to score. But what I mean by that is they need to get better looks. If they're going to work the ball inside, they're going to need to try to communicate better and avoid the double teams. Give themselves better looks at those interior shots. If you're getting outside shots, try to get them with more than, say, 3 or 4 on the shot clock, because if it's down to 2 or 1, you're probably not squaring up to shoot. You're seeing some of those, double pump, step through, just, beat the shot clock kind of throws. And those aren't good possessions. And again, because Trine likes to run the shot clock most, if not all the way down every time, you're not going to get that many touches in quarter number 4. You're going to have to do everything you can to not only give yourself good, clean looks, but also get a little more aggressive on the offensive glass and get some second chance opportunities.
Trine with the basketball to open things up. Quarter number 4. 50-45. The Thunder on top, and they're going to take a little time. 17 seconds. Lyra back in the ball game here for the Thunder.
And you probably won't see too many wild shots by Trine here in quarter number 4 either.
Oh, man. Katie Steers took a dribble, said, I like the opening I see, and knocked down a 3-pointer.
And I think that was a case where they looked at the history of the first 3 quarters and they figured, hey, plenty of shot clock left. I don't think she's going to try that shot. You can't just disappear on defense, though. You're going to have to stay true as that one rolls out on the offensive end. Tough miss right there for Rain Hinton.
Martin with the rebound. She doesn't look like she's 100%, Jim, the way she's running up that floor, but she's 95% probably, and that's just about enough when you're as good as what she is. Turnaround jump shot And just like that, the Brits find themselves down by 10. They're going to have to talk things over.
Anything you get out of her from this point, Jim, is guts, emotion, and will. And her teammates are going to respond big, and it's going to just build confidence and make that ankle feel just a little bit better each time.
Well, it's been an interesting start to the fourth quarter. It's not the way that I wanted it to get started because I was hoping that the Brits would be the one that would come out on the run here early. And instead, it's been the Trine Thunder that's been able to come out and get things started here. And now they're up by 10. Biggest lead of the night. If you just tuned in, it was 14-14 at the end of one quarter, 28-28 at the end of two. And then for the very first time of the night, 50-45 Trine Thunder at the end of three. Now just early into this quarter number 4, less than 2 minutes in. And Trine with a 10-point cushion right now as the Brits going to have to figure some things out. Going to have to start making some buckets and getting some stops.
Big third quarter by Trine. And they started off hot. A 5-0 run to begin quarter number 4. Do the Lady Britons have a response, Jim?
Let's hope so. Ball lost out of bounds. Just as we said that, Katie Neary, I think she was looking for that next move, took her eyes off the basketball, and it went through her hands and out of bounds, and the turnover gives the ball back now to Trine.
Simple math. You can't do the next move till you complete the existing move.
No doubt about that. Lyra gets past the double team. Comes back out front, and they'll take some time off the clock. Steer back to Lyra.
Although if the defense is going to step away again, you can bet they're going to take that three.
Williams with the basketball looking for Martin. She'll drive. Now cut to Martin on the back door cut, and Martin, like the senior she is, grabs it, controls it, and drops it in the rim.
And the stop and the change of direction, you know, to me, Jim says that while the ankle might have got rolled up earlier, probably feeling a little bit better right now because that's very demanding on the feet and the ankles.
57-45, shot short. Martin fights out to get it.
Friendly
she
fire.
And Lyra bounce into one another. Double team on that other end, and Coach Gould says, hey, I need to talk some things over real quick. Let's get down here while we got this nice cushion and make sure that this cushion continues to build here rather than a little disorganization on the other end there at that inbounds.
Plus you had a couple of players with a pretty, I mean, they laughed it off when they ran off the court, but a pretty intense little collision right there to knock each other down. So, you know, you want to, again, protect your players. You want to make sure everybody's all right, but at the same time, you see them kind of laughing it off, and so you shift focus from "Are you okay? You good?" to "All right, let's control ourselves. You know, let's just relax and." Again, remember the game plan. The game plan so far has been executed very well by Trine, and it is to be very patient on offense and not make the silly mistakes.
Evelyn Wishmeyer with those 3 personal fouls now needs to be a factor in this fourth quarter. Starters back on the floor now for both of these teams right at this moment as we get started here. Lyra drives, and boy, I'll tell you, they found some pretty friendly bumps off those that glass here tonight, and that was one of them as Lyra caught about every inch of that glass at about 4 different spots on the rim before it fell in.
If you're a younger player watching this right now, though, the patience that they're showing is so hard to have as a player. You're driving all the way from the top of the key. You think somebody's going to be in your face, getting ready to make contact with you. Don't be afraid. Drive. Find your open spot.
Wishmeyer chases down the long rebound and then tries to throw it back here to Burness, and Burness has it stolen by Dawson and then run through Burness.
I think Lutz might have gotten called for the foul right there as she stepped in the path of a player who had already left her feet. You know, you can get an offensive foul charge if they have a step before they get into you, but if they've already left their feet, you can't get in the path and get knocked over. That's a defensive foul.
So Lutz will sit down along with Emily Burness, and in off the bench comes Paige Risch and also Gillum, Maya Gillum.
Good defense right here. Good trap.
Gillum comes up with that basketball, and the reach-in foul on Lyra, a quick foul.
Cookie jar foul right there. Caught with her hand in the cookie jar.
Only a freshman again. Lyra, another one of those young players. She's out of California. 5'10", and doggone it, I'll tell you, it doesn't look much like a freshman out there playing basketball here tonight.
No, playing with a lot of confidence.
Paige Risch gets rid of the basketball to Orban.
The freshman playing on this team, too.
Wishmeyer ducks underneath and then tries to hit an open Gillum in the corner, but the ball gets knocked out of bounds.
Because you're talking about at least, I haven't checked d3hoops.com this week to see what the rankings are, but at least a formerly nationally ranked team.
Yeah.
Top 20 team. So, to be a freshman coming in from across the country and playing in a team this good, that says all I need to know about how good she is.
No doubt about that.
Good player.
Britons have yet to get on the scoreboard here in this quarter, and Lyra just takes that one away as Paige Risch comes in the other way, and the throw and the outlet and the easy lay-in on the other end by Brandy Dawson.
Good defense leads to transition, and transition leads to easy look. That's a complete both sides of the floor game right there by Trine.
11-0 run here for the Trine Thunder in this quarter. Wishmeyer gets a shot off, no good, and Lyra there to scoop up that rebound.
Like to see somebody follow a shot right there, though, as you saw 4 Lady Britons kind of stand flat-footed.
Williams hits Miller in stride, no good, but Dawson's there to pull down the bound.
The only players leaving their feet, Jim, are the Trine players on these misses.
Yep. Brits find themselves a little flat-footed. 3-point jumper, no good. Williams with the tall rebound and the putback.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, Trine's got it on the run right now.
The hustle points. It's a dominating performance in this second half by Trine.
13-0 run to open up this fourth quarter, and now we're 2.5 minutes or 3.5 minutes into it, 4.5 minutes into it, I'm sorry. So the Britons have found themselves in a bit of a cold spell here.
Nice ball fake.
Hitting with a nice drive and a bucket. Martin's willing to give you 2 right there. Yep. Not going to foul you and send you to the free throw line. And all of a sudden now some of the student section's starting to leave.
I think if it was a 4-point game, the defense might have been a little more stiff right there. But again, with the ankle being iffy and the lead being 18, I think you can, not that you're just going to play matador defense, but you're not going to take unnecessary chances like you said and
pretty
get a
much
foul.
Happy to just trade them bucket for bucket from here on out, I would think, as this night goes on. 16 down right now with the free throw for Williams good. Now it's 17.
Especially, again, when an offense as patient as Trine is. I know I've said that many times tonight, and I apologize, but they're going to milk that shot clock for as much as they can every time. So that's going to force Albion to shoot faster, which is going to force them to rush their offense, which in theory is going to force them to probably make some mistakes and turn the ball over in the process. So, the strategy is playing out exactly the way you want it if you're a Trine Thunder fan.
No doubt about that. Down to Hinton. She'll go against Miller. Turn around, then swaps pivot feet. Could have gotten her for a little travel there, I believe.
The length by Martin right there, Jim. Not only gets the block, but then is able to reach her arm out and swat that out to a teammate to start a transition.
That's that 4-year veteran, man, who's been through the wars, played in the NCAA tournament,
Just always knowing where everything is going on the floor and what she can do to impact it.
And the Britons again, 3 seconds to shoot. Rainbow no good, hitting there for the rebound, but the Britons have yet to score here in quarter number 4. This was a 5-point game coming into this quarter. I'm sorry, they've got 2.
Whoa! I had a little bit of a...
Brittany Lutz goes down. And the foul, I believe, will go against Dawson.
A little bit of contact right there.
That's how they play in Fort Wayne, buddy. I've seen them play over there,
There's maybe a smidge of acting going on, too, along with that, though. I mean, if they're both late to class and they're running down the hall, do you really think if they bump into each other that one of them's going to go flying that bad? Come on.
Britons need to do something in a hurry now. They're down under 4 minutes to play in the ball game. Wishmeyer with the spin, no good. Dawson's there for the rebound.
And that's just putting a hand up on defense and forcing you to alter the shot just enough.
Orban slowed Dawson down. And now Trine going to put this thing into a bit of a slowdown. Ball gets kicked over to the left side. Three-point shot's a little too hard. Hinton couldn't pull down the rebound. And the ball came out to Elliott. The fight for the basketball would turn the ball over to the Brits.
Ashley Elliott with the foul after the miss. She did a good job following the shot. But you said they were going to put it in the slow down, and then she turned right around and shot. And I have to think that the coaching staff might not have been too crazy about that decision right there.
She heard the guy calling the game say they're going to slow it down. She says, "Watch this, buddy. It's going towards the rim. It's going right now." 18-point game, 65-47. Brits with only 2 points in this quarter.
I would love to
Outscored
believe
15-2
that we have that kind of influence, but I'm nowhere near delusional enough to think to really think it.
I saw her right at the end. If Kenny has a replay, you'll see she stopped for a second. She pointed up here at us, looked up, pointed.
She must have been really fast.
Tossed it in.
That.
Yeah, I saw it. She was wide open, man. That's the other side of it.
That's a good point. She was wide open.
18-point deficit right now for the Britons. This was a heck of a ball game. It was 14-all at the end of one.
One of your fellow Brian sports broadcasters would call that the deep freeze. Is that right?
Exactly.
I've heard that a few times.
65-47, 3:23 to play in this one. Britain's had a ball game going, but boy, this fourth quarter has just been a miserable one for them.
Yep, not a whole lot of 2 points.
Yeah, that's it.
In the fourth quarter, in the fourth quarter.
It's just not been a good situation all the way around.
15-2 in the fourth quarter by my count. It's 50-45 after 3, right?
Yep, it was.
15-2.
Brits have now dropped
dominant second half by the Trine Thunder. Complete basketball.
No doubt about that. Brits have dropped now to 40% from the field and 37% from behind the arc. Jump shot no good, but it's rebounded. Back up goes Brittany Lutz, and she'll be fouled.
Got that foul in Cassidy Williams, number 5, and I mean number 5 as in the player, not in foul number 5.
I think that's either 3 or 4 on Cassidy Williams. 3 now on Williams.
There you go, number 3, yep.
She had a couple of them early, but she's played very well throughout the rest of this ball game to make this happen. Free throw is good by Brittany Lutz. But unfortunately for the Brits, this fourth quarter just absolutely as cold in the gym as it is outside right now. Second one rolls around, no good, and Dawson's right there for the rebound.
Whoa, can't do that. Yep.
Nope. Can't pick the ball up, put it back down, pick it up again like that. Nope.
And that's, you don't want to turn it over, so you just do, it's one of those want-to-get-away moments.
Well, I think you had a situation where Ashley Elliott thought that Brandy Dawson was going to bring the ball up the court, and Dawson was thinking she was going to pass the ball to Elliott. Elliott turned her back on her, and all of a sudden Dawson was out there on the island all of a sudden with nothing to do.
Yeah, we have a mismatch here, Jim.
Orban down inside, up and under. I don't know how she got under Camille Lira, but she did.
Lira listed at 5'10", Orban at 5'5", so I think I know how she got under. 5
Take
inches
away
short.
by Lutz, and then she throws it back to Ashley Elliott. Been that kind of a third quarter for the Britons.
Yep.
2:25 to go in the ball game.
Again,
down
trying to force the issue on offense.
Yeah. Right now you're looking for anything. Obviously things are not going your way and you're running out of time.
Yeah.
9 seconds to shoot. Lira puts it up. No good wide. But the rebound again comes off to Elliott.
Didn't hit the rim though.
That one didn't either, and it goes out of bounds. So 2 shots back to back that caught nothing. And the turnover gives the ball back to the Britons.
And that's one again where you see a couple of players, smiling at the end of that because you're up 15, but I don't think they're going to be smiling all that long. You can't be happy with a possession like that. You can be comfortable with the lead, but the coaches will definitely make sure they're not happy or satisfied with that.
Right corner jump shot, no good by Orban. That one spun out. And the rebound again, one and done. Trine right there to pull down that defensive rebound.
I am all kinds of impressed with Haley Martin, Jim.
Good
just a
player.
Great player, yep.
No doubt about that, and it's hard to believe that there towards the end of that third quarter she was in a pile down on the other end.
Yeah, couldn't even put any weight on her right foot.
Jump shot's a little bit short, and Orban's right there to pull it in. Fights her way into the front court. Coach Gould saying don't foul, let him go. Down to a minute to play in the ball game. Shots again a little bit short by Orban. And a little wrestling match breaks out afterwards.
That was almost a judo throw right there. Started to cross back over into one of the other sports that we cover from time to time.
Don't forget, we'll be back here on Wednesday night, this coming Wednesday night, when the men will be hosting Hope. Then we'll be back February 14th for the Calvin Albion men's game, and we'll wrap our coverage up this year on the 17th of February as the women will host St. Mary's in the last ball game of the season. A couple upcoming games that are good. You know, these two teams will lock up again on February the 10th at Trine over in Angola. So one last opportunity between the two of them. Williams calls a timeout right in front of her bench with 56 seconds left to go in the ball game.
Stepped into a double team right there, and definitely helpful to be near your bench. Coach can see the trouble as it's developing, and as soon as she stopped and a double team came swooping in, she was in the worst possible position too, with her back to the action. You have really no line of sight except for your coach, and your coach is basically just looking at you saying, timeout. That's the only move you have right now. Just either that or throw it up backwards towards the basket and let's just see what happens.
Man, I'll tell you, it was such a great start for both these teams. 14-14 at the end of one. They both scored 14 again in the second quarter, made it 28 all at the half. Then the Brits were outscored 22-17 in quarter number 3, and in this one, all the wheels came off. 15-5 now as the Britons all of a sudden finding themselves hard-pressed to find a bucket here as we work our way down the last 58 seconds of this ball game.
I want to remind everybody to go to GoBrits.com for all the winter sports, men's and women's hoops, and much, much more. Learn about some of the really cool service projects that the student athletes are doing too.
Foul with just 2 ticks in the ball game. Still be a common foul, so nobody going to the free throw line. Nugent in the ball game now for the Britons, 22.
Say welcome home to Bobby Lee too.
Yeah, it was good. It's good to see Bobby Lee.
Got a chance to say hi during halftime, and it's good to see him back here. Obviously had safe travels and hopefully enjoyed that conference. I believe that's where he was.
Yep, he's down at the NCAA conference in Indianapolis. Trine just willing to let the shot clock run down to 0 right at this point in time. There's 10 seconds on the clock, 30 seconds on the game clock. So they're happy just to ice this one away and head back down to Angola tonight. Dawson, though, wants one more shot on the night. She's over 20 now, 22 points.
And just
for Brandy Dawson tonight.
Constant motion, Jim.
Yep.
It was a really well-run play right there. Started up top of the key and then cut towards the basket at the end.
Hinton with the miss for 3. Rebound comes off to Trine, and that's pretty much going to wrap it up.
Bring it across and shake hands. Take this one to the house.
2 seconds, 1 second, and this one will go to the Trine Thunder. It was a great ball game for 3 quarters, and then the Britons just couldn't find a way to put one in the hole in that fourth quarter. Only scoring 5 points, and they'll fall tonight to Trine 65-50. In a MIAA contest here tonight at the Kresge Center. I'll tell you what, it was 3 quarters. It looked like we were going to have one that was going to go right down to the wire, Jim, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but that fourth quarter just became a difficult situation for the Lady Britons here tonight.
Yeah, that you know, you talk about second half adjustments, and you know, I know having Wishmeyer in foul trouble definitely didn't help it. You know, forced them to go into a few different lineup configurations, and again, not having Sam Carter out there as a facilitator. I don't know that I mean, you can't really say that slowed them down because they played them even up after 1 and after 2 quarters, and so you know, you can't hang it on any one thing. I think in a case like this, again, you go back to accentuating the positive and eliminating the negative. You look at a really good Trine Thunder team that plays balanced basketball and good defense. both of those things showed up. You saw really good possessions on offense where they'd run the shot clock down, and then they'd have at least one, if not two players cutting. You'd have shots go up, and multiple times, especially in the second half, the only players who looked like they left their feet were Trine Thunder players. So you had a lot of offensive rebound opportunities, which meant second chance points, you know, and rebounds on the defensive end in a lot of cases led to transition opportunities when they wanted them. But the game kind of got out of hand in the second half, and so transition really just meant get down before the Brits could set their defense and then, you know, just patiently run time.
Well, let's look at some final numbers here as teams tonight. Trine wins this one 65-50. They shot almost 52% from the floor tonight, Jimmy, 27 of 52. So that number just kept getting better as the night went on, as they were finding their rhythm, and they really kind of found it in that fourth quarter. For the Britons, 17 of 45, 37.8%. From behind the arc, Trine only 2 shots out of 15, 13%. But the Brits, who were hitting 50% in the first half, and we talked about how they're going to keep that up in the second half. Well, the Trine defense didn't allow that to happen in the second half. Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Ian. Always good to have a young fellow like that around to bring us some numbers. So they shot 35% from behind the arc, 7 of 20, Jim, as the night ended. 9 of 13 from the free throw line for the Britons, 9 of 11 tonight from the free throw line for Trine. So fouls were not an issue here for either one of these teams tonight. Britons with 16 turnovers to 12 turnovers for the Thunder tonight. Points off turnover was substantial, but not big enough to really take up the entire gap. They had basically, let's see, 8. I lost it all of a sudden. There's 13 points off of turnovers compared to our 6. So they outscored us by 7. Total rebounds was a big difference tonight, Jim. 33 rebounds for Trine, 24 rebounds for the Britons here this evening, and a lot of those really did go right back into the hole for these guys, because they were able to make those offensive rebounds. Had 8 of them, had 25 defensive rebounds tonight. To your point, basically the Britons didn't do a good job of getting that defensive rebound or that offensive rebound for the putbacks. And Trine seemed like every time they needed one, they found a way to get that offensive board and put it right back in for that 2 points here tonight.
You bet. 36 to 14 points in the paint, 22-point advantage there, and a 17-point differential on the scoreboard. And you want to feel, you know, if you want to get a feel for where things kind of went off the rails in the second half, Trine 22 points in the third quarter. The Britons 22 points in the second half.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that fourth quarter, that 17 points was all gravy, or added value, I guess, for the Trine Thunder as they coast to a 17-point victory, 67-50. But again, I look at the points in the paint.
Yeah.
Plus 22 for Trine. A lot of that is directly correlated to the aggressiveness they showed in getting the offensive rebounds and getting themselves the second chance point opportunities, and also the patience and discipline on offense. They look like they'd be headed for a shot clock violation, and then with about 3 or 4 seconds left on the shot clock, there'd be one player who'd start at the top of the key and they'd do a back cut.
Yep.
Come right through the middle or go around the wing and cut towards the basket. And, you know, if you have good motion on offense, you tire out the defense, and then that one player who looks like they're just kind of going through the motions of the 5 on the floor on offense is the one that kicks it into that next gear.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready at that split second, you know, that's where, you know, you got to communicate and you got to double. In some cases, you got to find that player looks like they're getting ready to cut. Maybe you holler a code word, somebody on defense kind of steps in the path and see if they can draw that charge, but it happens so fast that usually you don't see it and realize it until it's about 2 seconds too late. So, you know, you have to give a lot of credit to the Trine Thunder. That disciplined brand of basketball that's a difficult matchup. I can see, you know, now firsthand why the record is as good as it is, and why they're as consistently good this season as they've been.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The one play that sticks out in my mind, Jim, going back to your point, is Brandy Dawson's. She had 22 tonight, and that one late in the third quarter where the clock was running out, she had the ball down on that right block. She basically took a step almost out of bounds and was able, as the buzzer was about to go off, to hit a shot from almost behind the backboard when she let loose that ball, and it went in. And it almost seemed like from that point on, things started going Trine's way entirely, and it just was, to your point, they were clutch down in that last couple seconds. And there were a half a dozen of those, and those half a dozen actually ended up being a big part of that difference, that 67-50 loss here tonight.
Yeah, some teams, tend to get into panic or scramble mode at certain points during a possession. And Trine seems to just kind of lull you to sleep in some of those cases. And then, their ability to turn it on late in a possession like that, just, it goes to show again, they're mentally tough, very well coached, very disciplined. And that's where, as a Briton's team and any other MIAA team that they're playing from this point forward, you're just going to need to make sure that you're communicating well on the floor. You see somebody making a cut like that, if you can call something out that gets somebody else to step in that path and shut them down, maybe that completely alters that possession and forces a turnover. Yeah, no doubt about that. Looking at some other numbers here tonight, individual stats. Brandy Dawson had 22. She led all scorers tonight. Also had 9 rebounds tonight, 3 assists. Haley Martin had 9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and also twisted that ankle and was able to get back up and get in the ball game. Very impressed with Kayla Freeman tonight, Jim. 8 points tonight. Also had 3 rebounds on the evening as she came off the bench. Camille Lira, 7 points for the freshman. Montana Martin, 7 points. Cassidy Williams with 6. Katie Steers with 6. Shelby Oldham with 2. So, you go pretty deep into that in that lineup there with people that have come in off the bench and actually contribute with a bucket or two, which also makes the night a little easier too. And for the Lady Britons, they were led by Brittany Lutz with 15 points. Also had a couple of assists, a couple of steals, and 4 rebounds. Had a pretty complete game. Rain hitting 12 points on the night, along with 3 rebounds. You had 8 points for Evelyn Wishmeyer. Foul trouble limited her minutes midway through the game. Emily Burness had 7 points, 4 points for Tiara Orban, and 2 points apiece for Haley Nugent and Jamie Hubbard. And again, just a tough second half for Coach Cardin's squad as they fall tonight to, I believe that's 11-5. Does that put them at now? Yeah, 11-5 now on the season, and now 5-3 in the conference. 5-3 in the conference. The Trine goes to 15-2 and 7-1. So yeah, it's a tough situation. Let's see. Looking at the schedule coming up for this team for the Britons here next week, they will have Olivet on Saturday at 3 o'clock right here. And then next Wednesday, they have to go to Hope, so things don't get any easier for the Lady Britons. On the 27th, they will have a game here at 5 o'clock against Great Lakes Christian. And then on that Wednesday, the 31st, the last day of January, they'll go to Adrian. Now they'll be home to Adrian, actually, a 7:30 Wednesday night game right here. Then into February, they open things up with Calvin right here. We'll be here for that ball game. And then Alma on Wednesday the 7th at Alma. And then the 10th, they'll be at Trine on a 3 o'clock game on a Saturday. They finish everything up at Kalamazoo on Wednesday the 14th. And then the only home game of the month is the game that we'll do when we're here for St. Mary's, and that'll be the final game on the 17th when they will host St. Mary's. So a couple of big games around the conference coming up for the ladies. Also, Jim, Trine plays Calvin on a week from tonight at Calvin. Trine plays at Hope then that following Saturday on the 27th. So we'll find out how the top couple are going to play against one another. And obviously right now there are 4 teams really on the top of this stack in the MIAA as you're looking towards the tournament. And we're not looking that far ahead, but if it all started right now, it would be Hope,
Trine, Calvin, and Albion going in as the top 4 teams, and they're got a few games separating them and the guys on the bottom of the pile right now. Not sure whether Coach Carton's going to join us here tonight or not. We'll give her another minute or so, and then we're going to pack it up and head out of here. But it was a good ball game. It was a good ball game for 3 quarters, Jim. It just became a 4th quarter that the Britons are probably going to remember for a while, or maybe it's one of those quarters that you just say, all right, wipe it out, forget about it. Let's not worry about it and move on.
I'd venture to guess that that's probably more what's going to happen. I think that, you know, all the basketball you've played out of conference, in conference, you know, you realize you're playing a really good team tonight. You had a bad second half, and, you know, you're obviously going to learn from the mistakes and, you know, taking better care of the basketball, giving yourself better possessions and things like that. But for the most part, you're really just looking at, you know, yeah, there's a couple of bad quarters of basketball. Let's go ahead and, you know, let's chalk that up to, hey, we just played a couple bad quarters of basketball, and realize that we played them to a draw quarter 1, quarter 2 of the game, and choose to focus on that is the kind of team you have.
Yeah.
You have that team that plays a really good team like Trine to 28-28 tie at halftime. And so, you know, that's the direction I think you go.
Well, and again, as you take a look at this basketball team that Coach Carton has, and we'll wrap things up here in just a minute because I think the coach probably spent a little more time in the locker room tonight and a little less time on air. Tiara Orban is, again, one of the only 2 seniors on this team. Or you got Orban and Nelson hurt, so she's not playing this year. Then you go down that lineup. Rish is a sophomore. Schuette's a sophomore. Lutz is a sophomore. Carter's a sophomore. Duncan's a freshman. Nugent's a freshman. Wishmeyer's a sophomore. Neary is a senior, so there's the 3rd senior on the team. Hubbard's a junior. Burness is a sophomore. Hinton's a freshman. Stanley is a freshman, and Gillum is a freshman. So you have a basketball team that is playing against a Trine team that played in the NCAA last year, that is a veteran basketball team that is primarily made up of freshmen and sophomores. So it's going to be an interesting remainder of the year, and I think the future for Coach Carton and her ladies is very, very bright, and we're looking forward to doing a lot of ball games here over the next couple of years here on the Briton Sports Network. With that, I think it's time to wrap it up and head it home, dear Jimmy. So why don't we say our thank yous to everybody here at the gym tonight at the Kresge. Obviously, Bobby Lee, one of the guys that always helps us, but why don't you do our honors to getting us out of here?
I want to thank our producer extraordinaire, Mr. Ken Reeker tonight. Tree Hill doing the camera operating up top. Also for Albion College, want to thank the Director of Athletics, Mr. Matt Aaron, and the Sports Information Director, Bobby Lee. This game was a production of Richer Productions and FJ Productions. And we want to remind you one more time, for all the details on tonight's game as well as all other winter sports news and notes, visit GoBrits.com. Thank you as always for watching the Briton Sports Network. Have a great evening, everybody.